So in this video, we're going to look at how to multiply two fractions together. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can approach multiplying fractions, and it can be a bit confusing at times for people, because often with fractions, our first step is to always get a common denominator. When you're multiplying fractions, however, it's not something that you need to do. And in fact, getting a common denominator, what it actually ends up doing is it creates larger numbers for the denominator, which then creates really large numbers to have to multiply and have to simplify. So although it is not incorrect to get a common denominator, it is not recommended because you are going to be complicating your life significantly. So the first step when multiplying fractions, the simplest way to approach multiplying fractions is to simply multiply tops or the numerators together. So 6 times 3 is 18. And multiply the bottoms or the denominators together. 9 times 4 is 36. And then you're just going to look at the answer and you're going to simplify. And in this case, it simplifies to 1 over 2. Now, a slightly easier way, if it makes sense to you, is to use something called canceling. So what you're actually going to do is you're going to end up canceling things that are in common before you actually multiply. And to cancel, you have to look for things that are in common between something on the numerator and something on the denominator. So for example, 6 and 9 have something in common. 3 goes into both of them. So what you can actually do is you can say that 3 goes into 6 2 times, and you can simplify right away. 3 goes into 9 3 times, and you can simplify right away. The other really cool thing is that it doesn't just have to be directly on top and directly on bottom. You can do them if they're diagonally, as long as it's something on the top with something on the bottom. The other really cool thing is that you can simplify or cancel something that you have already canceled. So for example, I can cancel this 3 with this one here. 3 goes into 3 once. And I can also cancel this 2 with this 4. 2 goes into 4 twice. Now, all I actually need to do my multiplying is multiply the numbers that I'm left with. 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times 2 is 2. So some people find that really, really cool and easy because they're working with smaller numbers, and some people find it really confusing. And it doesn't really matter. If you prefer option 1, you can use option 1. If you prefer option 2, you can use option 2. So let's look at the second example. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to look at it from the two different options. So again, I can just multiply. 2 times 20 is 40, and 5 times 8 is 40. And in that case, that actually just simplifies to 1 whole. Or I can look at canceling. So for example, I can say 2 goes into 2 once, and 2 goes into 8 4 times. I can say that 5 goes into 5 once, and 5 goes into 20 4 times. And then I can actually cancel those 2 4s, and I'm left with 1 times 1 over 1 times 1. Now, you might say with this example, well, where is your work? I haven't shown any work. Well, your work is all this canceling. So you can't just do that in your head. You do have to show the canceling that you did, and that would be considered showing your work.